Hello, this is a demonstration of the CMBAgent USACO benchmark code, and I'll explain to you the project while the benchmark is running. So I'll start the benchmark. And then we have our data, which is divided in two parts. A JSON file, for example, like this, which contains problem metadata, like the ID, the level, the description, and the total number of tests. And you can see here an example of such a JSON file. And we also have a test cases folder like this one, which contains a folder for every problem, and inside that we have input and output files, corresponding input and output files. For example, input.1, output.1. So for this problem, one of the test cases is this one. We input 1 and 2, and the correct output will be 3. How the benchmark works is that we ask CMBAgent or any other LLM for the code which solves the particular problem at hand, and then we just compare, we give the input to the respective code, and we compare the output of that code given by the LLM with the real output. So let me give the path to the JSON file and the test cases folder. So I gave the path here, and now we will choose the way we want the problems to be chosen. I'll just choose them by level. There are 4 levels in the benchmark for problems, either bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. We'll just take one of bronze and one of silver to have a small benchmark just for the showcase. And now we will input the agents. We have a list of agents here in model config, and we can either give raw LLMs or we can give one-shot or planning. So let me give one of each. Planning and control has by default the following models. These ones. For the engineer, it's Gemini 2.5 Pro, researcher, and plan reviewer. So these are the default ones. And for one shot, we can specify which LLM model we want. Let's just take GPT 4.1 for the engineer of one shot, and let's also give maybe Claude Sonnet 4 on its own without one shot. So we chose these agents, and now we will just let the benchmark run. So every agent will go through every problem, and at the end we will have all the results in a folder called benchmark output, which will contains 2 subdirectories. A configs subdirectory, which contains configuration files which just store the settings that we chose during the shell script. Right here, the levels, the paths to the problems, how we want to choose the problems, the agents, etc. And for example, here we have this configuration file right here, and we can see the things that we chose. And also we have another folder called runs, and it just contains the runs that we ran, the benchmarks, and the current one is this one. So right now it's empty, it just contains the configuration path and problem IDs, but as the benchmark is running and the agents come up with the results and we do the evaluation, we execute the code, results will be appended to this file. So I will just wait for every agent to finish all the problems. Alright, so the benchmark has finished. We have printed some summary text here. Let's just see how it went. So planning and control and Claude Sonnet 4 did the 2 problems properly. They were correct, and one shot with GPT 4.1 apparently solved only one problem. And let's check the actual results. So this is the file from earlier, but now we appended all the results. So for every agent and for every problem respectively, we have the generated code, time, cost, etc. And the agent summary, how much time the agent took in total, the cost. Same for one shot. Let's see why it did only one problem correctly. So we have in this problem right here the silver one, which is harder than the bronze, of course. On the first test case, it outputted 1 instead of 2. And for Cloud Sonnet, we saw that everything worked well, and we have a summary of everything. The benchmark in total was $0.17, 800 seconds, comparison by accuracy and by time. And we also have our folder. Let me refresh the Visual Studio Code screen because I think it didn't display something. Yeah, good. So right here we see that two directories have been created, one shot and planning and control. For every problem that we have for one shot and planning and control, we also store all the files that they create. So the working directory for every problem, and we store everything there. Same for planning and control. And yes, this was the demonstration. Thank you for watching.